say a word. Roll me pictures down in your head. I heard in the time flew like an old sweet sound. It's been so long, I need you now. When your mind goes, it'll be alright. Just remember me like you did last night, and I'll sing your song as the lights go down. It's been so long, I need you now. We can sail away on an old greyhound. It's been so long, I need you now.
We have another member or previous member
Yeah.
in the studio as well.
I would
and
say that he is a standing legacy member.
why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Ben.
He sounds so excited, by the way.
He sounds like a cactus waiting for rain.
We both got here from work. We're both a little tired.
Sell us a little bit.
I was a drummer for a spell, and I'm a buddy of all the buddies. Hey.
A buddy of all the buddies.
He's underselling himself. This man is a man on fire on the drum kit. No offense, Fuzzy.
I hit it here and
I'm a
there.
man on fire, but
I hit the skins a little bit.
Yeah, we've had you on the podcast before.
Yup. Play drums for Floodgates.
Yeah.
I'm the handsome boy. And I'm also the handsome boy in this room, apparently.
Is he the cutest one here?
Yes.
That's what my wife
Yep.
said.
And Ben is one heck of a chef.
Yeah, oh my
Yes.
God, this guy could... He would show up with just platter trays of food before shows. And he'd be like, I feed my boys.
Don't sell it too hard, because then people will ask.
Yeah, but like, listen.
Now
Too
the
late.
question is, do you do the same for Floodgates?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. We practice at my house, so we do dinner.
Which is
quite
true
often.
because I went to a practice, a Floodgates practice, and I was there for dinner that night, and
Yup.
you made everybody a
Tuscan
giant
chicken
meal.
pasta.
Does one say his food's orgasmic? Maybe.
It was really good.
But you forgot the
And,
Tupperware.
yeah, I couldn't take.
No,
Audacious of you.
can't
I
forget
didn't take
the
my
Tupperware, man.
leftovers, but I did eat there, and it was delicious. And Chris
you.
loved it too.
You playing the
Oh,
game or not,
flippers.
brother?
Stop. I hope that's on camera.
So
hate
before
you
we
so
started
much.
filming, I had promised you guys a little story,
Yes.
and I think it's very appropriate to talk about what the hell happened
Story time.
after you guys left. Okay, so the day after you guys left, we had already had for the camera. We had already had so many issues with the cameras and the audio and things cutting out, batteries dying, and so on and so forth. The day after you guys left, the Hobbit hole floor fell in.
No.
What the what?
Wait,
Now-
that wasn't concrete?
No.
Hold on. Define fell in, please.
Where Chris was sitting, completely to the ground.
How deep?
Did you go to
And
China?
not too far. It was like a foot.
Can we refilm that with him sitting there?
So I had...
You have pictures, please.
I spent the next couple of days fixing that and then having to duct tape around it so nobody steps on it until I can get the whole floor repaired.
Oh, Chris, we love you, buddy. Oh,
Right Acme on it, Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So now it's all marked off with black duct tape all the way around it, and it's just like, don't step in that area. That's why I had said Chris was very lucky. I'm very lucky that he didn't fall through on my watch.
Hey, imagine if that happened on camera.
The title co-host must have been real heavy on his shoulders.
I've been buddies with Chris since
Lord.
middle school. He would have just looked at you and said, "I'm falling for you."
And again, you were worried about this.
I do want to state the floors are very old. It was not his fault. It's something that happened, and it was just like the perfect ending to how that day.
Dude,
went.
we're so sorry. We sew up and we just ruin everything. We're so sorry.
We don't raise the roof. We lower the floors.
Recall the moment is not sponsored by Life Alert, but now is a good time to hop on that.
Yeah, get on that.
And Lowe's and
Also,
Home Depot.
You know, we have a buy me a coffee. I'm just saying, repairs are needed.
we have now
Link in the description for that.
link in the
Patreon, baby.
we have a GoFundMe link down below for the Hobbit Hole.
So I don't remember where exactly we left off in the last one. I believe it was started or ending with the new releases. We didn't really get into too much of the new releases that have already been out. We really kind of talked about what you guys were going to be doing in the future. But let's go ahead and talk about the new songs that are released. There's 2 of them. Inspiration behind them. How did they come to be?
Over to Garrett.
Well, as far as In Your Heart's concerned, I mean, it was written a while ago, really. It went through quite a different altercations. It used to be more upbeat, a little faster,
Right.
maybe even a whole key, I believe, like higher. Like it was just a youthful group, may
There
I
you go.
say. Initially recorded it, and
We're tired.
we're tired. Yeah, and so Connor's infinite wisdom, including my wife, she said the same thing. She's like, I think that needs to be like stripped back, slowed down or something, just make it a little more easy to the ear. And we also took a trip to Nashville, me and Connor. Rock and roll. First of all, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from Delaware, which is in Cleveland, Ohio.
No, you gotta lay it out better than that.
Oh,
there,
I'm
Gary.
getting there. Before we even left Delaware to go to Cleveland, Ohio, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what was it? A transfer case? No, my drive shaft.
So a whole lot happened.
whole lot
we
happened.
crashed 2 medical school graduation parties that weekend.
Well, we did.
Yeah, we really
Or
did.
did.
We
We did.
really did.
One of our previous security guards, know him very well.
Previous.
Know him very well.
I call.
That explains a lot.
Mr. Cole Crawford.
Cole Crawford.
He was at his sister's graduation at University of Delaware, and we just party crashed it. They're like, go talk to the guy, because he happens to work on cars too. We're like, hey man.
He had a Mustang. But he has an Explorer.
It was
now.
beautiful. Oh yeah, nice Explorer. They're both red.
It's just like his Mustang.
If you know Cole, this matters.
I don't, but carry on.
Oh boy.
You will know Cole.
Yeah. So anyway, we crashed all that just to talk to him. Like, hey, you think we can drive on this? Like, we came to the conclusion, we're here. We made these plans, took off work, all the whole 9 yards. Like, we're gonna go.
Right.
We went, and that thing held up. I mean,
What did we calculate? 1,800 miles?
round trip, man. It was crazy.
So we went from Delaware all the way to northern Delaware through eastern Pennsylvania, across Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania, Ohio, like every major city in Ohio, every major city in Kentucky. Whew, that was an interesting place, dressed like a hippie with long hair. They loved me. You ever walk into a bar and everybody gets quiet?
Yep.
That was the gas station at 2 a.m. there, so we kind of like out of there.
Fair enough.
They were like, you don't belong. I was like, no, I don't.
But back to your question. So we took that trip, which, I mean, that just goes to show everything that we do here in Dutchman, including your own podcast, is interesting. Something always happens.
Oh, it's been a fun week. I'll give it that much.
we can't do a
He's been texting me. It's been entertaining for him. Don't get me wrong. He loves us, but
We cannot.
He's honest.
I might take February off.
We cannot.
Part 2, baby.
We cannot do the simplest thing without some sort of uckery.
And that's coming from the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, dude. And he shows up, plays drums, and ucks off. And that's what I'm saying.
And I show up here and something happens. We can't do anything and something's gotta happen.
When Ben was here, it was all okay, I swear.
Yeah, I do that.
Ben, was it okay?
He has
or
done
did
that.
things also happen?
I was okay.
We sat in the van a lot with Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the van, much like yours, man.
Much like
Yeah,
yours.
we were talking about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Anyway, so we made it to Nashville, and we're in there, and we're just two guys he's from Jersey, I'm from Delaware. We're just,
Right.
we don't get out much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're in Nashville, we're just checking everything out. We stopped at Gibson Garage, which was great.
Nice.
Those guys there's a post on Instagram. Those guys at Gibson Garage, they let Connor in there with his, he was like, hey, mind if I get a picture of the Gibson sign with my 1971 Fender Strat? And they're like, yeah, go right ahead.
They were just like, I don't know if my manager's going to like that. Oh, I don't care.
So those guys were great. We're just checking out the whole scene, and we're like, we're young guys. We know like the whole crowd, everyone our generation, all that stuff. We know music. We know what people are doing, social medias, all that stuff. We're just walking around there, and we're like, we really are like traditionalists, aren't we?
Right.
Because we're like, we can do a take on some country music that would be pretty good. You know what I mean? We don't know how the people will take it, but to us, it's traditional, straight up. It's what you want to hear when you hit country.
Right.
You know, it's not Toby Keith.
And I quote
Now-
on Music Row, well, we could do better than that. I don't even like that, but I could do better than that.
Now, are they based on true stories, or was there like an inspiration directly for the new songs?
I'll be the first one to tell you that I have no reason, mostly for any of my songs, just whatever works.
Fair enough.
Some of them, like I Need You Now, is about my wife. Because I wrote her These Days, and she didn't like that one, so I had to...
Oh, did she not?
No, it all starts with It's a Lonely Place.
I didn't know that part, and now that okay, cool.
So I wrote I Need You Now, and I was like, there you go.
I don't know. These days ain't that,
Stamp of
because like at
approval.
the end, it's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It's
Life is
bad
a journey,
in the
ladies and
beginning,
gentlemen.
the lonely plains that never grow, and then later on, it's like, oh,
You never long to
we're
go.
good. I never longed to go.
Never long?
We're fine. Like once I met you, till there was you. Yeah. But
Now on to the drums. Were they MIDI or were they played by you for the recordings?
So they were MIDI and played by him. So
song dependent.
yeah. So what's hard about recording drums here is that this was never supposed to. As I'm sure you will see in
Yeah.
the course of this podcast, especially with us performing in the live room. This is not a studio.
Right.
It works very well because the walls are plaster and it's all from the 1800s, so nothing echoes through here.
Fair enough.
So it records very well, but it's very hard to record drums. So what we did was we took samples of his crown kit that he uses live,
Gotcha,
and we
okay.
programmed them into the electric kit. So that way, what you're hearing is his kit, but it's a little more tolerable to record. You know, it'll take us 8 hours with the real kit. It'll take us 2 hours with that.
That's very cool. And you guys have like really, really good timing when you're playing music. Like I'm in here setting up as they're doing their rehearsal, and it was just like the timing of it is really great.
oh,
So do you guys like use a metronome? Is it just like all by ear?
I get yelled at to stay on time. That's what happens.
Fez, like you can't give him blatant statements because I'll be like, slow down, and then it's a ballad, and I'll be speed up, and then
it's
there's
death metal.
cocaine.
a lot of our answers really are like song dependent.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
most of the time, if you're a professional anyway, now, old school guys, hear me out.
Oh boy.
Like even old school guys, like they had some kind of click.
Be patient with him,
You know what I
Dad. He's
mean?
a good guy.
So we try to have some kind of click to all of these songs
Right.
that we're staying consistent with, right? But certain things just end up the fluent way they did live, specifically going nowhere. Because if I were to say, oh, we do everything to a click track, and then some dude's
Right.
listening to going nowhere, he'd be like,
Yeah,
nah,
I
nah,
saw that one. Yeah,
nah.
that's not.
yeah, like totally no. I timed it. Like,
We found a way to flow with each other, and that's why when we get together and practice, we just kind of let things happen. We work it out, and we figure out what works and what doesn't, and we genuinely stick with what works, and then we also improve upon it. So it's just we just flow together so well and we communicate well. Whether and again, like he says, it's slow down or speed up, but also in the moment of doing it, we're looking at each other. It's just like, okay, this clicks.
Catching a feel on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'll
Gotcha.
say this, and this is no offense to any drummer we've ever worked with, but out of Ben here and Fez, they're very good at taking eye signals.
Gotcha.
Like I can usually dip my glasses down and look at them and be like, up, down, stop, go, longer, jam.
Now, is it the same on stage? Like, do you have a click track on stage?
No.
Never.
Same thing.
Wow.
Never
Well,
done that.
on stage, we're live, raw, uncut, ready to go.
So how did you meet Ben? How did you meet the band?
The band.
When
We
I
are
was
not
still
the
playing with Great Big Liars, we played the first show when I was their drummer. We played at the Vault, and Dutchman opened, I think.
Yeah.
And I met
Yeah.
Connor, and I really I think the first interaction we had, he just walked up to me and showed me this vintage guitar, and I was like, dude, this guy just went on for like 15 minutes about this guitar. And
Only
I have no
15?
idea
That
who
sounds
this
like me.
person is.
Hold on, only 15? He was
I was-
doing this with you.
I was not a fan because he was just going on and on about it. I was like, who is this dude? I'm just trying to play this show. And then I kept seeing him at GBL shows, and we were just like, we just kept giving each other hugs and being buddies. And then I met Garrett, and I met Fez, and we all just kind of we kept seeing each other at shows, and for some reason, every time that I meet a person, they immediately become my best friend. I don't know what that is.
Look at this
But
face. Come on now.
It's a lovable face.
Look at this guy.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look at this.
Come on.
We all just kept seeing each other and hanging out at shows, and then I live 8 minutes exactly away from Connor's
Is it 8
place.
minutes?
It is 8
exactly.
minutes. And then we started jamming a little bit because
Fez had a medical moment.
so, and they were like, hey, you can play drums and you're a buddy, so do you want to come over and try to play with us?
Right.
And then I jammed with them, and yeah,
And so now you're in a new band as well, then, yes? Floodgates?
I've been with Floodgates for 3 years. 2
Has
years?
it been that long?
2 or 3 years.
Wow.
I don't remember.
Aren't you still
It's
in your
got to be
20s?
more than 2 years at least,
Am I
because Recall the Moment started 2 years ago. And you guys were a band before that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
3 years, dude. Weird.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not in my 20s. I'm 36. I'm about to be 37 this year, which
I
is
am
disgusting.
30.
How is
37,
Fez
man.
40, but
Hold
you're
on.
37?
As of recording this podcast, I will be
My
30 in
knees
like
hurt.
2
Existential
weeks.
dread, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
and this past year was the worst, and now it's great. But also 37.
Right.
Yo.
How are your
Why?
knees?
We recently,
What
you
knees?
and I ended up getting sick with what I think is the same illness
Yeah,
without
man.
being in the same room
Yeah,
together.
and it's still I have a residual cough, and
I-
I just
yep.
feel my age right now.
It was just like a few days after
Long
Christmas,
COVID.
man.
the worst.
It was
dude.
very, very hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I still had to go to work,
Yeah.
and I took 2 days off and felt like crap, and then I
I think we were supposed to hang out or something. You texted me, you're like, dude, I can't. This
Yeah,
is
man.
bad.
I was in a different plane of existence for a couple days.
And I was like,
the
because
worst
I've
time.
come over when you were sick before. You're like, no, not this time. This is bad
Yeah,
this
dude.
time.
I had that a few months ago.
know if
My
it
whole
was,
body
West
hurt.
Nile.
I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have
Yeah.
now?
I'm just here.
I'm sick right now.
Probably malaria or something.
Whoa!
Well, Dutchman, it's been fun.
But for so the dudes at Floodgates all said hey to all of you guys.
Hey!
Mikey, I love you, buddy.
Eli.
Everybody loves
Yeah,
Mikey.
Eli.
Chris
Hell yeah.
Higgs. Everybody knows cameraman Chris.
Yep.
Everybody loves Chris.
He plays
Yeah.
guitar for us, and he is ridiculous. He's writing the coolest stuff. And they wanted me to say that we have a show at halftime
Yep.
on March 28th with a bunch of other bands. and I don't remember who all it is.
Well, Dutch,
I put an ad in the previous episode.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh,
You're
Dutch-
solid. You're good.
Thank you, because I'm the one that's running the Facebook and doing all the posts.
Oh,
and I'm
Lord.
I
trying
knew
to-
it was you, man.
Yeah,
I could
because
just
things
tell
are
the way you
spelled
were
correctly.
written.
Yeah. It's wild. Things are like actual cohesive sentences. That
Yeah,
make
I'm
sense.
scrolling through Facebook next to my wife, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ben's doing this.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got a story to tell you.
The thing is, like,
He
I
said
don't know
the
if we
thing
said
is.
it when we were on the podcast, but Eli is like actually basically blind.
Yes.
And he has to use speech to text on his phone, which is the worst speech to text because it just
Yes.
detects everything that you say.
Oh,
as
God,
you say
yes.
it. So whenever he would put up a post, it was like just punctuated in these weird spots, and we would read the post and we're like, dude, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be the person that did it because I'm not super big on social media,
Same.
but
Like, share, subscribe.
Shameless.
links in the
oh
comments.
man, solid move.
I look forward to the comments. I
Whoa,
really do.
you really are a good interviewer. You slipped that right in there.
It's funny. I remember one post Connor made, and I gave him so much shit for it. Every single word was capitalized. Every single thing had a period. No commas, no nothing. And he
That's how
tried to
serial
justify
killers
it.
write,
Now to
And
make it
I
worse,
was like, what stuff in New Jersey did they teach you?
to make
It's
it
in the water. I'm
worse,
from Jersey too, dude.
to make
in
it
the
worse, a
water.
little fun fact about our first part of this podcast from what last week we filmed it.
Yeah.
On the way to the podcast, my glasses snapped in half.
That
And they were-
entire thing, man. I don't know what was going on that day.
Again,
Or the day
Dutchman
after.
cannot do anything
So-
without fuckery.
That was my backup pair, by the way, viewers. So I am blind as a bat right now. So that's why Garrett and Fez were laughing when he was talking about, how Eli asked you
Oh, no.
speech to text, because
I
that's
was-
me this week right
So
now.
are your prescription lenses still taped onto those frames right now?
Goddamn right they are.
I was laughing because of that one post you made that was completely incoherent.
I can like see, but everything's dim right now.
He's like
like a
Stevie Wonder,
manifesto.
this guy.
Is there any questions that Ben would like to ask Dutchman?
Whoa.
Then clearly.
Easy.
Speak now,
mean,
forever hold your piss.
When is your first off, how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
I haven't seen you guys.
I'm
in a while.
relatively all right.
He lives here.
We're driving, Ben. We're driving.
I like your socks your grandkids
So this,
got you.
yeah, actually, so that's on the head on the nail on that one.
50-year-old
So
socks.
these are from Reagan's grandfather. They're from the Air Force Base in Maine from the 70s. He
Now
used to
it's
work
sad.
on the flight line.
God rest
freight
his
line.
soul.
These are like 100% wool, and they are the warmest socks I've ever worn, and I have 90 pairs of them.
When can I come and see you guys next, like music wise?
That would
Yes,
be February
February
1st.
February 1st. Where would that be?
Fezzi's birthday,
Cabin
everybody.
fever.
baby.
Okay.
And I believe we got passes to like everything.
Yeah.
All
Dew
exclusive.
Brewing Company, I believe, and we are headlining at 10 o'clock, 10:30, but there's so many bands on before us. So get out there at like, let's just say 4 o'clock. Have a
Now's
good
the
time.
time that Fez lists those bands.
Dutchman. Back to you, Ben.
Like, we all just looked at you.
Back to you, Ben.
All right.
Ben's the drummer today.
We will
Yeah.
meet them and know who they are when we play.
No, they will meet us, and
Listen,
they will know
I know who
we
they are
That's-
60% of the time, 100% of the time.
That doesn't make any sense.
That was such a Tiger Mom answer, dude. Wow.
Where did that reference come from?
It's just real life, dude.
Well, I figured since we've had like kind of a pretty decent in-depth on the previous part one, and we've kind of gotten into like some of the serious music stuff already, I generally ask most of the people that I have on as a guest just like some random questions, get their thoughts and like some like insight in their thought process. So I figured we could go through a couple of those. Which I guess one of them is: do you have some advice for someone that is just starting on their music journey?
3, 2, 1.
Quit.
Don't.
Wow,
Wow.
Next question.
just wow. Can
We're
we
smiling on
elaborate?
the outside.
Oh,
We
little
planned
bit.
that.
We did.
It's hell.
That is that-
All of this is hell. Leave while you can.
If you watched our WBOC performance, go to Del Mar for Life YouTube. Go check it out.
Link in the
Garrett
description.
had a perfect answer to what's it like being in a band for 8 years. Garrett?
Dude, it was off the cuff. I mean, there was no script. There
What
was a
was it?
teleprompter, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
he asked
Dude
it
was
was
like, "Was it? Oh, 8 years. How does it feel being in a band for 8 years?" I just looked at him and I was like, "We're tired. We're excited, but we're tired."
the most genuine answer he could give. Oh God. Keep working at it, basically, because that's how we are here today. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, there are times where we looked at each other as just like, do we keep going? What the hell do we do? Like, so we just stop.
And listen,
Right.
kids, if you fight once, it's over. So just walk away.
Fair enough.
Fair.
True.
Ben, do you have a belief in this area?
I agree. Yeah.
Don't.
I agree with that. Yeah.
agree.
I concur.
He's just here so he doesn't
I'm not
get
gonna
fined.
lie. I've had a couple of moments like within the last 2 years that like even though it's just been me for a lot of it, it's like maybe I just stop.
But say, to keep working at it and know when to like
The most
take a step back.
The most
a moment.
important part of either one of our cases here is
Right.
like, how much time you got on Earth? What do you enjoy doing?
Right.
Why are you doing things you don't like doing? Do what you want to do.
There is a sense
That's a
of pride.
beautiful answer.
And
Yeah.
if you can,
Stoic even.
if you
Yeah.
can, monetize on that shit.
What are you, Steve?
The merchandise,
It only takes
t-shirt,
one.
CD.
He is his son.
I think okay, so I think too though, like seeing this group of squirrely dudes is kind of the, you know what I mean, whoops.
Squirrel?
But I think if you find a group of like-minded people who are really cool that you can vibe with all the time and then not fight, or you find a way to communicate so well that you know that you're all
Right.
not agreeing on something, but you can find some kind of common ground enough to still all do the thing that you want creatively and just still be friends. That's probably a good start.
Dutchman is the Delaware Compromise.
That's the clip. That's the clip. Right there.
That's the clip. That is the quote. That is our tagline from now on. Put that. You need to put that on Instagram and Facebook
listen,
tonight.
kids.
New album,
Here's a good behind the scenes that none of you'll know about. There's a video of us
So
playing.
cut this.
No. This is good. This is
Oh,
all right. Everybody here is okay with this because we all had to watch it together.
That's fine.
What are we talking about now?
So when we recorded These Days live at Electric Fossil, it's on our YouTube.
Which day was
What you don't see before and after is the fist fight between me and Garrett. Seriously, of how bad we used to go at it. But it's like we haven't had a fight in 3 years now.
So,
So
like-
it's like the whole thing we say is we've done all the fighting we could.
Yeah, that one. So the joke about that one is the joke. There's a couple jokes about that one,
There's a lot of jokes.
but really, like a blanket statement is that we all watched the Beatles documentary. Like after that,
Yeah.
we took a hiatus. You know what I mean?
All right, there was a good
Right.
6 months.
Yeah.
Everybody just stayed in their corner.
And it happened to be the time when that was fresh, the Get Back documentary. So we're all watching it in our own homes with our own girls. We're just watching it, herming it up, you know. And we're all like, oh my god, like it's us. Like we all know who each Beatle is.
Yeah,
And-
what made it
Right.
worse is we all agreed who each Beatle was without actually conferring with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm Paul, he's George, Jake is John, Fez is Ringo, and Franco's
know.
Billy Preston. So fucking uninvolved.
But doing a remarkable
burn,
job.
dude.
So like
Roasted.
Yoko
Yeah.
Ono,
Yeah.
she sat on the amp.
She sat
right,
on the amp.
Yeah.
right, and then it's a whole big thing because she sat on the amp. Well, that particular day, and that video that's on YouTube is These Days Live. We're playing it, and that was like the last. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna get it right, and we're gonna get a video of it.
To be clear here, just for context, we did 2 nights. We did the first night with an audience.
Yep.
And then we had a safety night the next night where we would tape the whole thing again without an audience just in case there was something we needed to overdub. Mostly not
Yeah.
even audio, just for camera angles.
That's what that third camera back here is for tonight.
And to answer your questions, yes, we wore the same clothes, but we changed our underwear.
Disgusting.
You changed your underwear?
I don't think anybody was gonna ever ask that. Yeah.
Just to close that statement about the Get Back and the Beatles and the These Days video, I stepped on my boost pedal. If you
Yeah.
know what that is, viewers, you have a boost pedal for your guitar, so
Yeah.
you can do your solos.
It was
and shit.
humming.
It was humming. It was humming.
It was
I
bad.
won't say it wasn't humming, but to me, I was doing it that way for weeks, and that day, our feedback with the monitors or something, it wasn't good, and it was all just humming, and it was bad, and he was like, "Shut that pedal off!" it wasn't that bad, but like to me,
No, that was. I'll say this: we watched it, and me and him are like now we're fine.
we know in the moment we were
yeah.
seething, but it doesn't seem that.
No, when we're watching it, we're just like, that was it. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had our rough patches, which is why
Every
I said,
band
you
will,
know,
yeah.
learn the moments where you kind of got to be like, all right, maybe we need to take it back a bit. Maybe we need to take a breather, relax, and revisit this at some point. That was I think, the bad point of the band.
Yeah.
And we've made it through that. And
To be-
like he said, we haven't fought in 3 years. Practices have been so much better. Like, we all have come back. We've grown up from then.
And
Now,
I think personally with the Dutchman look, y'all should be knocking on some wood like soon, immediately.
Thank God there's wood in every chair in this house.
The walls are wood. Now,
Stop the podcast. We
now,
go
I will-
over there.
I would like to say this: it was not always bad. Leading up to that moment, we worked for 3 years without a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we worked from volume 1 straight up to that without
Pushing
a
yourself
single
too far.
break.
Yeah.
We worked 4 days a week, every week for years.
Right.
We played 2 summers in a row, every weekend, 2 times a weekend.
We filled out our winners too.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Those
yeah.
are the
There
best.
was a
No,
there was
are
a
horrible.
bad double-headed weekend too that didn't go well with
Yeah,
us.
now,
It's just
to be clear, like
oh.
there was at the end there, right before Kirby's, we had about a month of rehearsals because it was being taped and recorded. So we took off for that just to rehearse. But before that whole summer, we were playing like 2-3 times a weekend, every weekend, with
Right.
3 rehearsals during the week.
You burnt out.
Yeah, no, it's basically where God.
Yeah.
So it got to the point. It's like I love him to death. I'd take a bullet, but like I don't want to fucking see you for 3
Right.
months,
Right.
kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like when you take on a band, it's like a marriage. You're taking on a wife,
Yeah.
and now you got 4 of them.
Right.
And everybody wants to feel like they're heard, and everybody wants to feel like their corner is being met and they're being satisfied for what they're here to do.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Sometimes when it starts getting hard, it's like, unfortunately for me and Garrett, we're the ones in charge, and we got to be like, no, stop doing that. That's not.
So Fez, how does it feel to have 2 bosses?
Yeah.
I've been in the restaurant.
Leave that in.
Hold on. I've been in the restaurant business my whole life. I've always had more than one boss, and these two can at least work on the same page and communicate with me of what the hell's going on.
Fez, I gotta give Fez
So-
credit. Fez doesn't care to know. He'll just show up, and be like, "I trust you. What are we doing?"
He just wants to play
We
drums.
said this
Yeah.
on part 1 that his whole thing is
I show up, I play drums, I fuck off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with
That is
Fez.
it.
He's loyal. He sticks with us. He understands like his strengths, and he doesn't try to interfere with what we want to do. And as long as we're making sense, we're being reasonable. You usually don't have anything to say, do you?
he's like a Labrador.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
like
Franco's gonna get
No,
a
I
kick
am
out of
no,
that.
I'm the golden I am golden retriever energy, sir.
Well, I didn't do you dirty like that. I called you a Labrador. Golden
yeah, no,
retriever.
you
be fair,
you
though,
do
to be
have your
better
labs.
To be fair here, though, I taught my cat how to play fetch, and Joe is hopeless.
Joe's hopeless. Joe's my
Hey, I love that
big
potato.
lab at my house. He's a sweetheart with a
Oh,
blockhead.
he's a good boy. Joe will eat 36 hot dogs in one sitting.
and then throw it
That's
up
why
and eat
he's
it.
a damn
Yeah, then
potato.
throw it up and
It's
eat it.
crazy you say that about hot. I was just talking to my sister. Totally unrelated.
So
Ben
your,
is
sis-
here?
so your sister
yeah,
and hot
hey.
dogs.
I was, sometimes I'll crush like a couple hot dogs because they're really good. But I found out 3 is the threshold, and if I eat more than 3 hot dogs in one sitting, I get this like rage that I can't control.
You get an Oscar Mayer branded
I don't
shit
know what
in your
it.
toilet.
Yo, I
hell?
get like real like ornery, and I'm like sharp, and I don't know what it is.
That's okay, Ben.
My
Wieners
mom
make
said
me
it's
ornery too.
nitrate.
Ben's idea of a good time is 3 hot dogs.
3
My
wieners.
idea of
Listen,
great
wait,
time
listen,
is
No
hot
more.
dogs.
No more than 3.
He's not
more
the
than
only
3.
man who gets ornery about wiener time.
Listen, dude, something about him. But you eat 5, and it's like a different day.
Whoa.
I just wanna
You're
throw that
knocking
out there.
5 dogs, dude.
when is your
Sometimes I'm
wait,
hitting like 5
hold
or
on.
6
where
dogs.
Hold
the
on.
hell is your skinny ass putting that?
Hold on.
Muscles,
There's drugs. There's alcohol. For Ben, there's hot
glizzies.
dogs.
There's hot
Yup.
dogs.
Glizzies.
No. Always
Sex,
a glizzy
drugs,
boy.
and hot dogs, baby. Woo!
Well, Ben, the quote Clint Eastwood. My father will appreciate this one. A man must know his limitations.
But to quote Mr. Gravatt here, the Mr. Gravatt on the couch, you cannot force a man into recreation.
You cannot force a man into and don't grace me with your morning dignity.
Oh my God! One
I
morning,
think
dude.
we're moving on into a way different direction. Let's go on to the second question here.
Let's say good here.
You
Yeah.
ever seen Bonanza, that real old show? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Garrett are like avid fans of old TV and old movies.
Couldn't tell.
And
Yeah, I can
right?
tell for sure.
Yeah.
Connor's
So,
actually 70 years old.
I use moisturizer.
No, you don't.
So when we're in the studio working, we'll have like Bonanza or Andy Griffith on low. And one morning, Bonanza was on, and somebody walks in and goes, on the show, "Don't grace me with your morning dignity." I'd never heard that before in my life. I thought that was the funniest shit.
Like it was
I'd
the
ever
most
heard.
nonchalant way to just shut someone down.
Yeah, dude. He was like, the guy was like all fucking kind of shit on the show, and then he's like, "Don't grace me with your morning dignity," and I was like.
We both stopped. We were just like, it was probably the morning, and we were just, gathering our thoughts, smoking a cigarette,
We're tired.
doing whatever we doing whatever we do, and then we heard him say that, and we just both stopped and wow.
Like it was like the most derogatory situation in the show, and he just goes, "Don't grace me with your morning dignity." I went, "Whoa, I got to use that."
Oh man.
But
All right, yeah,
moving
let's
on.
go into the second question, which is you guys have released a couple of singles already. I assume there might be some other singles coming out and possibly an album. For the average musician now, do you believe it is better to release singles or albums, and for like whether it's business-wise or personal use?
I would say it is better to do the single route, although at least personally I look back and I'm like, I love the work that I see.
Right.
I love the work that I see when I look back. I mention them all the time, and I always will, because they're my favorite. Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
dude. He had all the stars aligning with them, right? Like he was already in the Yardbirds. He had Peter Grant already, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the sheer fact of like you look back and the discography is not sporadic. It's not this and that. There's not
Right.
a big fall off. There was only so many years of Led Zeppelin, right? But there's no big fall off or nothing. Like there's just album, and
Good
it's just,
album
and you
over
just
good
track.
album,
You
yeah.
you can just track everything and see the progressions and like how they did things. Even when you can tell they went back for like old
Right.
demos and redid them, you can still just tell the growth and stuff, and it's really cool. You can do that with singles too, but I love just showing a body of work right
Yeah.
out there. But definitely the way the market is nowadays, it's entirely different. I mean,
Right.
you got to sell like the one song real big, hit it hard, and then maybe they'll even know what your band name is or who your singer-songwriter is, but they'll know the song.
Now,
You know what I mean?
will that advertisement of the single help and boost the album? Do you believe there's a correlation between the two?
I have a good answer to that if you want.
Go ahead.
I think we all have a
So
different opinion
okay,
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
an album
Listen.
is good for your discography on Spotify. Just to pump it up, because anybody who's going to go with the single and really like it is going to want to hear more. So that's really what that's for these days with the market. Singles have a better punch. I would say that an A side will carry your B side. That's how it's gone for us.
Doobie Brothers.
Yeah. So like In Your Heart and I Need You Now, like In Your Heart's the B side and it's doing better than the A side right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? In my opinion, I like I Need You Now better, but I wrote it, so I don't really get an opinion, I
Right.
guess.
You got a bias, yeah.
Yeah. I would say releasing an album sets yourself up for your fans, but doesn't necessarily do a great thing for a release, because then the amount of money you're going to have to pay for it is just going to do the same thing a good single's
And
gonna
your
do.
career. Because if
Yeah.
you're a songwriter and you're a sole songwriter,
Mhm.
even if you're a collective songwriting entity, that's all your cards on the table, and then you got to start from scratch. And I mean, honestly, as much as we all strive, who the hell is the Beatles? They would write an album in a week
Right.
and record it in a week and master it in a week and then put it out the second week. Like
Right.
it was insane.
So their record, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, World, was 4 singles a
and
year,
they will.
2 albums a year, or an album every 6 months.
Mm.
And they did that straight up to like the White Album, Sgt. Pepper, that era. So you got to think, like, there's no beating that. Nobody's ever going to be the Beatles again. That was
Right,
an
yeah.
extraordinary moment in music where all the stars have aligned. And especially in today's market, it's not. It's a whole different world. People are all now.
Right.
Now. You know what I mean? They don't have the time to sit down and listen
Or
to an
attention
album.
span.
But
If
yeah,
I'm being
there
honest,
is
there's
no
not
attention.
much
Dude,
attention
YouTube
span.
makes most of its money on shorts because there's
Yes.
no attention
everyone
span.
does now.
Yeah. Yeah, even the Recall the Moment channel, like the videos, the long form videos, you'll get maybe a couple hundred. With the shorts, you'll get a couple thousand easy.
Mm.
And that's just like me and Justice goofing off and stuff like that. And it's got nothing to do with the music. It kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little defeating.
So the
sometimes.
reels, so the shorts and the
Oh, yeah.
reels are like your singles,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you got your full length. So you're like, look at my full length. Like they all just know
Yeah,
the
we
single.
put one
Yeah.
little funny clip from the podcast on there, and it does great. And then you release a song, and it's got like 80 views, and it's like, man, might as well just stick with the podcast.
right.
It gets to a point to where you have
But you
to
love it. You want to
Yeah.
write. That's the whole point. Is I want to write. I like to write and record and learn the engineering side. So
It
that's why I
comes to
keep
the
doing it.
point to where you just have to be adaptive to the market you're trying to encounter.
Right.
Basically, I mean, like we have vinyls coming.
Mhm.
That's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cassettes are a big thing right now with kids today.
We're-
we
we're-
remember
Recall the
cassettes.
Moment's doing a tape.
Hipsters.
But like you know, you
Hipsters,
got
Yeah,
to
you're right. Yeah.
like Spotify doesn't pay a zilch, but that's the market in which you're going to get heard. So it's like, what do? Do you stay prideful or do you just adhere to kind of the world you're given?
And they changed the rules too, didn't they?
They tried.
They tried.
What do you mean?
Do we know if that went through?
I would assume not. My royalty check for this month is $8.
Yeah. So I guess
Big bucks.
I'm probably going to butcher this, but it was a couple of months ago that they had announced that they weren't going to be paying everybody like they used to, and that each individual song that you release has to have over 1,000
Oh
listens
yeah, that's
before
a thing now.
you become monetized.
Yeah.
Only on that song, not the rest of your album.
So after all the years of
I guess that
everybody
kinda makes
complaining,
sense.
they did the opposite of what they wanted.
right. Yeah. Exactly.
There was a court
I've
case
got
I heard.
no chance. So
Yeah. No, there was a court case I heard where a bunch of music, like Paul McCartney level musicians, went in and tried to like talk to the Supreme Court about it. And I guess they didn't do anything because we're still not getting paid shit.
Yeah. I
The
hadn't
money,
heard anything.
right now is in live shows.
Yeah.
That's where it's been probably the
Always.
last
Even
5,
old
10
school,
years.
yeah, it was really your live shows. That's why you toured. You know.
Now,
always-
is it
there's the
more
merch.
into the show or more into the merch? That's exactly what
Well,
I was going
But
we have
whatever
merch.
makes you money in this
Shameless
business.
plug. We have merch on our website attached to bonfire.com. If
Still
you
never
shop
got
there,
my shirt. It's fine.
you're
Damn.
you're getting it.
Get his man this
You
shirt.
were only in the band.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Get him his shirt.
I don't
How
like shirts anyway.
Okay.
Why do you have one
Well-
on? You have two on.
About to say, anytime I've seen you play drums other than the day, you have been shirtless.
Yeah, I've told you, Fez, you're not Ben. Leave it on.
But yeah,
I don't. I need more
unless you have
tattoos.
like a physical shirt in hand and some
Yeah.
dude selling it while you're playing, like, oh, look at me, I got a shirt. Those guys on stage, I got their shirt. Here. It's like unless you do that,
Right.
no one's going on there to buy your merch really.
Right.
And really, if they're going on there, they might buy a hoodie, but really they're looking for like an album.
And it's your mom.
Yeah.
And it's your mom. I'm a CD guy. I don't think they were that bad.
You
I
have
don't think
CDs.
CDs
There's
nuts?
not one
I have my
CD player in
parents'
this
CDs.
house.
The van I rode in only has a tape player.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
because you're
That's
real.
why I'm making tapes.
Don't we know?
I mean,
you
want
want to go ahead and tell us about your sign there,
Oh, is it? I'm
All right,
talking
yeah.
about this. It's
Connor? You want to tell them what it says?
It was a late Christmas present. Garrett got me this for my desk. It says, "Fucker in charge of you fucking fucks."
And that could not be the most truest fucking thing of this band, honestly.
This
From your
is
two
Dutchman.
bosses. Yeah.
Oh no, it was from him to him.
Listen, there's plenty of people who's worked for this band that would agree that I'm a fucker. So
Yeah.
You are a fucker,
Yep.
not even a motherfucker. You're
Wouldn't
just a
you-
fucker.
yeah,
Look,
we,
what's
we
great-
know those people.
What's great on that is the famous
There you go.
algorithms everyone's phone has. Like
Yeah.
they're always listening.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I
They
mean?
know when you
So
poop.
so like
No, it's just TikTok.
so you remember the award show
was
when
just-
we were down in my basement apartment back there back in the day?
Yes.
So-
Back that was like 5 months
When
ago.
he stood on a table
But
and
now
said
I
he was
have a house.
unfireable.
So
Right.
it's different.
Anyway,
You know what I mean?
yes, yes. The award show.
So we were down there, and Fez was fucking around with like some kind of guitar. He was like, I don't know if you remember it, but what I remember is like you got the name wrong or what kind of guitar it was. Like, It was something stupid. It's not like you're stupid. It's what I'm saying. Like it was minute.
What's the point
It was minute, right? And it was a big day because it was our hometown hero awards day.
Was it this past one we just did?
Yeah, the one we just did.
Okay.
So we were waiting on some guy that isn't even in the band to come, like all that stuff, right? So we're
Talking
just
about that
stressed.
guy already.
Yeah.
No.
Nah.
No.
We love that guy, but we're not
I
talking
do
about
love
that
that
guy.
guy.
So Fez was like, "Oh, it's not a 6-string, it's like an acoustic or like I don't know, it was something like that, right?" And I go, "It's this, you fucking fuck." and then later on, me and Connor like saw through like an advertisement scrolling through our phones while in the studio. Literally, it was
Is that how this
it was
came
the
up?
advertisement for this placard
Is that how that happened?
right here.
Oh wow.
Dude, yeah. And I was like, no way. So then I just kept scrolling because normally you see that shit, you're like, that's funny.
Right.
I saw it again.
Had to do it.
I had to do it.
I made a group chat in my phone, a text message group chat, because we usually use Facebook Messenger, but I made a text message chat of the three of us, and I named it The Fucking Fucks. Because that's if we could name the band The Fucking Fucks, we would, but I don't think that'd go over well.
No one is telling you can't.
Me and Fez were
Fair enough.
me and Fez were talking earlier this week. I was like, if anybody who doesn't know us hears us, just thinks we just abuse the shit out of each other.
Right.
But it's
We
love.
do. Don't get us wrong. We do. I mean, we
Out
do.
of love.
Franco would be the first to tell you.
Blinking twice.
He's like, he's the best. Because Franco is the most God-going man.
He would just say, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
He does.
Like, it's,
And as we get to wrap up here, because we're going to be doing some songs as well, too, yes?
Yes, sir.
Is there any last words that you guys have for your fans, your following, your family, anything you would like to say?
Non-applicable.
Wow.
and done.
What an absolute nerd.
He's going to shit himself when that's the end of the podcast.
Hey, listen, when I played, yeah, dude, when I played on TV, somebody shit in my pants, so when I find them.
Dutchman is awesome. All the dudes in Dutchman are really cool, and if you don't already listen to them or go and see their shows when they play, which is frequent, you should go and check them out.
This is all because I'm giving him a 20 when we're done.
And I'd like to add to that because
You're
he didn't
getting
really
paid?
mention his own band. Floodgates is also awesome.
Floodgates
he
is
is the
cool.
drummer. They have a show March 28th at halftime, Newark, Delaware. And there are plenty of other bands. Recall the Moment's going to be there doing interviews with Floodgates and Ben and Chris.
Stoked.
So make sure to check that out. And now carry on if there's anything you would like to say.
I plead the fifth.
He pleads the fifth of Jack, is what he does.
Ben, thanks for coming.
Memories.
Uh,
yeah, of
And
course.
thank you, Ben.
Love you guys.
I thank you to anybody who somehow found us and listened to us.
Thank
if
you
you're
for.
if you're still listening to us, thank you.
You know,
Bye.
you know what he's trying to say.
Is there any social media links or anything that we can get to see Dutchman?
At Dutchman now, everywhere.
Yes.
Now.
Now.
At
Everywhere now.
The at symbol, Dutchman now. All one big
Is it
word.
an underscore now?
All right.
No, that's Instagram.
Oh, Instagram
All right, to
is
clarify,
underscore now.
everybody, another 10 minutes on your podcast.
Here we go.
So it is at Dutchman_now on Instagram and Facebook. However, the website is straight up DutchmanNow.com.
And just Dutchman on YouTube,
Throw a couple
I assume.
W's in front of that.
I would like to point out in the
HTTPS.
first episode of the podcast, and this is how I'm going to end it tonight. When we were talking about the Flying Dutchman and finding you guys on social media and Google, Connor, you had mentioned we are not flying, we are not the,
I heard
we
it.
are the Dutchman.
I want you to know I caught that in the review that you sent me to watch it and make sure we were good with it.
And
Please.
I was
purposely,
like,
I
I
left
was-
that in purposely.
Please
No, I
leave
know.
that.
No, I was just like, dude, I watched that and I was like, gotta live with it. Yeah.
So with that, thank you guys for hanging out. Make sure if you didn't check out part 1 before, go check that out now. Peace and love, y'all.